So coming to the stage, we have another out-of-towner. We have to make sure that we give all of our folks who got on the highway and maybe risked life and limb. I'm just kidding. I'm pouring it on a little bit thick, but it was nasty on these roasts earlier. So we're so happy to have our out-of-towners come bless this stage. This performer is from DC, traveling from DC, and they just won a residency at the very famous Broadway. So please give it up. It's awesome. No, it's a big deal. Like, that's right. That's like when you booked and busy. Like when you come through and it's like, I'll just take the whole month. Thank you. I will. Please put your hands together. I'm very excited to see this performer live. Everybody put your hands together right now for Miss Gina Brown.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
So I love music, so honestly I was back jamming, and I also joined in the Go Tiff, just because I felt like, right? And so I don't even want to really do a lot of comedy, but I have to because I can't sing. So that's a problem. But I do want to talk about, because we are at this music show, right? So y'all know, and you might not, because I'm way older. Like, I'm older than my Tiff, the Tiff that came from DC. She's my Tiff, and I'm even older than her, right? So all my references are going to be, like, she was like, hey, do you remember being a kid in the 80s and the 90s? I remember being an adult in the 80s and the 90s, right? So my references are a little different, so you might need to Google up some history. So made me think of the song, the singer Kwame in New Beginning. So he sang this song, only you can make me feel the way I do. Oh, it's true, right? So, right? So he has these lyrics that are like, I love you like a wife, mother, sister, and daughter. I drink your bath water. And I thought, that's a lot of different ways to love somebody, all lumped up together, right? And then he goes on to say, I want to do it like, which I don't know how that would play out for the mother, sister, or daughter, right? Like, that may be all right for your wife, but for the rest of that you love, I just feel like the might be a little bit different. So it made me think of that, because y'all were singing. Yeah, I know, right? Some old A reference. So some of you weren't even born. Like, help. I know. I love Philly. I do. So it was a Philly comic, not even a joke. A Philly comic who I met, I think, at like a festival in Baltimore or something, and she taught me ATM. Now. See? Like, she was in the middle of telling some story about dating, right? And then all of a sudden she started talking about ATM, and I was like, automated teller machine? Where did that come from? Like, I was so confused, didn't even make any sense. And somebody whispered, like, and I was like, oh. So a Philly comic taught me that, so thanks for the education, Philly. I don't date that much, so I wouldn't have known you know what that is. If you don't know, you have to ask somebody, but you all know because you're all young. So I guess since I don't date that much, I don't know, have y'all ever been so single? So single that when people accidentally bump into you, you thank them for the physical contact. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And do you ever think that happy people just didn't get all of the information? Like, why are you so happy, right? Like, I read the book. I know how it ends, and it ain't good. I'm just saying, read. Or open one eye, right? Just one, you only need one. You'll see why we're all crying. So I don't always, I do good, but sometimes in the middle of doing a good, there's like a bad thought that comes through, right? Like, you just have to keep it sort of real. So I gave a homeless man some money. And in the course of so doing, I touched his hand. No, all good. And his hand was just so soft. all of this taking place while I'm just trying to just do good, right? I thought, now, if I ask him how he got his hands so soft, and he tells me it's a fancy lotion, right? Like if he says Vaseline intensive care, go with God. Just go. Take my money and go, right? But if he says like Kiehl's or Crabtree and Evelyn, right? What am I supposed to do? Can I hold my money back? So I don't, but it's all happening during the good, a little bit of bad. So there's that. Death, you know. I mean, if you live, you're gonna die. Let's be real, right? So, I mean, right, I'm just here to share thoughts. So, I went to a funeral yesterday, not gonna bring you down. He was a good friend of mine, he also was a comic, so he would be cool with me, you know, kind of going on with my life. And I'm not ready to talk about his funeral yet. At some point, I do want to discuss how Popeye's chicken came up in the eulogy, but we're not. I just feel like maybe just let the ground get cold for a minute. However, I do want to talk about death on social media, because I feel like we race to the RIP, right? It's a competition. Who can RIP first? And we're RIPing like people who we don't even know. We read an article about them 15 years ago, and now we think we know what they would feel on their deathness. So there's that. And also, we used to rest in peace. Now we rest in power, and I feel that's tiring for somebody who just died. Like, they just died. Now we're like, be a warrior! and you're dead. So, that's my death thing. Let's see, ugly babies. Let's go. Let's go. Are you kidding? Come on. So, here's the thing. Do you think people who have ugly babies know they have ugly babies? You know you have an ugly baby, right? Like, I'm not the only one looking at your baby thinking, fuck, that shit is ugly. Right? You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing with ugly babies. The person thinks like it's personal. It's not. You did your best to bring in a decent enough egg with some sperm you might have just met. You cooked it up, you shove it in your uterus, right? The uterine kitchen, we don't have control over how that thing's gonna cook. We don't know, it's just let it go. So then it comes out and you're like, now what do I do? Like everybody knew that this was in here cooking. So I have to prove to the world that I had it, right? So here's what we can control, because you can't control for that. One pic. You post one baby pic. You say, I had it, it came out, this is it, right? One. What you don't do is a collage of ugly baby pics. Now I gotta sit through that, but worse, you had to sit through that. You shouldn't subject yourself to that. You knew it was ugly when you were trying to pick pics. Like, nobody should do that. Or you can do a boomerang. 4 seconds of not enough of the baby so you don't get the full depth of the ugly, right? You go in on the ugly, come out, and you're like, oh, that was a cute knee, right? Like there's not a lot of, you don't see face and pure ugly right in front of you, right? So, I mean, here's the thing. I had 2 NICU babies. NICU. They were not cooked, right? I mean, they're like, you know what I'm saying? And I had to love them because I'm their mother. I didn't have to subject anybody else to that. Also, I wasn't on social media at the time. So if I was, I would have posted a toe. Because a toe was the only thing that was ready for public consumption. Everybody can't handle, you know what I'm saying? You keep that ugly baby at home. So that's ugly babies. You know, I'm just saying. I guess right about now, looking for my biracial bisexuals. Woo! Yes, you're in here. I saw that curly hair earlier. I did. And I mean, what you were doing to your girlfriend, I kind of knew you were something. So, I'm just saying, I did not see you, right? So, because I did. I didn't record record it. I didn't. So anyway, normally it's just me in the room, but I like to call biracial bisexuals the double bis. We're the ones where we're completing forms. We're like, excuse me, how many boxes can I check here? Like, they run out of boxes, right? We're like, yeah, I guess I'm that too, and I'm that. Oh, fuck, I was that last week, right? You know, so, you know what I'm saying? So, I think the, bis are one of the more confusing of the rainbow letter spectrum, LGBTQIA. We're not with the W yet. Tiff wants it on there. It's not there yet. So we're the most confusing, right? In part because, like, when my friends find out I'm bi, they're like, wait, what? Wait, oh. They start rewinding the tape of our life together, right? Pause, rewind, pause. I had a tape recorder when I was born. Bump, 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 8-track, really. And so we start rewinding, and they're like, Gina, have you been liking me this whole time? I'm like, oh, it's so confusing, right? I'm like, nah, I was bi. I'm not tasteless. I mean, you're super safe with me, right? You know, I mean, I'm just saying, like, just because we like men and women, doesn't mean we like you. So, I have to try to be gentle, but it's just facts, right? Like, if nobody else wants you, rest assured, we don't want you either, right? I mean, I guess statistically, it's actually worse for you, because here's a group of people who could want you based on what they like, but still don't. So, there's that. I hadn't figured out if I'm too old, too PC, or just too damn queer. But I thought a gender reveal party was when somebody came out as trans. Right? Like, I've had 2 babies. We talked about it, right? And we didn't have a party. What we had was a discussion about why the contraception failed twice. Right? Just saying. That's not a party that we had. So I'm an older mom, which means I'm old, and you know, as I am, and my kids kind of just got here, so that it's good, you know, kind of, but I'm ready for like that next phase of my life, so I'm trying to check off bucket list stuff, right? And nobody, because I've checked on your bucket list, puts, why don't you have kids at an old ass age, right? So it's not there. So, and the thing is, I think foundationally, we kind of want the same thing. Like, they're just looking for somebody to parent them, right? I too am looking for someone to parent them. I mean, so, right? Like, I think just our approach and how is just different. But Christmas, 9 days? So we're all hoping, because we put it on our list again, Santa will get it right this year and fix this travesty of a family. Ooh, right? So the thing is that kids, they're not horrible. They just say things, like a lot of things, and you can't unsay it once it goes out there. So my little one, I took her to the office once, and yeah, I work in DC in an area of town, if you're from that area, Gallery Place, Chinatown, which perhaps down up here might be akin to, like, if you were to combine Center City, the Wells Fargo Center, and Emerald City, like, if you just throw it all in the thing and just kick it all together, right? That's kind of where I work. So we're walking down the street, take her down the street, and she's looking at people, and she's like, Mommy, I don't mean to be rude, which I need to tell you is just a setup for what's about to come is all rude. Like, it's just a whole bunch of rude laid out for you. So she says, Mommy, I don't mean to be rude, but there are a lot of black people here. And I said, well, you are rude. Also, you're black. Right? You're black. So she's like, but I thought, no. Mommy's a little sprinkled up. That's for certain, right? But you, Daddy's full black, don't crack. So pretty solid there. Also, some of these people might be your dad's relatives. So I just need you to pull back a little bit on some of that. So I'm raising a racist. And yeah, I think what's tricky about that is that I don't know how to safely raise a racist as somebody who's typically on the receiving end of racism. And so I don't know. I guess I just need a little help there. I'm from the north, as if you're from here, you probably are too. So, like, I just like my racism a little bit more subtle. Like, I just serve it to me via gerrymandering, and then I think we'll be okay. I'm Gina Brown. Thank you.